Okay, cue intro music. We don't have that yet. We're working on that. Hey, enough of that. Intro music. After 2.5 months.
That's royalty free, so I like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I am.
Royalty crap. We gotta pay him.
Wow, there's my nerds right away nerding it out. You were way off the C note there, I'm not gonna lie. I think that's what you were trying to sing in the C, but anyways, nerds are nerding it up. That's excellent. Now you're gonna have to do that every single time. You gotta remember that jingle.
No. Change it up. Change it up every time. Change it up every time.
Aaron said it's been, 2.5 months? We've been buzzing a little bit in the chat group, talking about what we're going to talk about. It's been a while. Since we started this whole thing, it was pretty much just playoff talk, right? Like, we just unpacked the playoffs, and you know what? It was a lot of fun, but I'm ready to not talk about the playoffs. I have it, underlined it twice here. Let's not talk about the playoffs, so let's just not do that, okay? We got a little lineup here. We're going to talk about off-season accusations. We're going to get each of the nerds 2 teams that they like and they think got better, and 2 teams that they don't like and they think got worse. So that will take us right into last season standings for regular season. We'll review them, and then this year's projection for the standings. We always say we're going to be 45 minutes. We always end up going 9 hours. So we'll try to keep it under, 4 hours for you. And then we're going to end up with Aaron, the Vancouver nerd. He's going to walk us through the lineup projection for this year. I'm just saying right now, okay, I got invited to tomorrow night. Is tomorrow night the home opener, isn't it?
No, that was the Flames.
No. Oh, what?
For Vancouver, and the second game.
Year, I got invited by my friend to go to the game in the 500 club. But, of course, I can't do it because I got to do the Chiefs game.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. Any other game, but any other night, I should say, with doing the BCHL at Chilliwack Chiefs. I'm already not going to be there for Saturday because I'm going to the island for my boys' hockey tournament. So I know I couldn't. I tried to find someone for the Friday because I initially thought wasn't going to be able to go to that because of the hockey on the island, but that doesn't start until Saturday. But anyways, I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be bumping elbows with downtown Vancouver finest, drinking $38 glasses of wine and $42 beers. It might be the opposite. It might be $38 beers. Anyways, the 500 Club, I've been up there once, and I snuck up there after a game with my buddies Tom and Matthew. And, yeah, it was nice, but I definitely looked like I didn't belong up there for sure. But I should have belonged there tomorrow night.
That's tough because you would have seen Torts behind the bench with Philly coaching that player that you have never heard.
Oh, yeah.
That rope guy?
Oh, no, God.
Second one that we just...
What the guy say his name?
Matt V. Michkov.
Yeah. Sounds like a real hockey player, doesn't he? I'll tell you right now, we are watching the San Jose Sharks in their home opener play the St. Louis Blues. Celebrini scored just over 8 minutes into the game for his first NHL goal. It sucked. It was like a spinorama that he attempted to put to his winger's partner. I don't know. Who's number 72?
Eklund.
Okay, because Celebrini is 71. It went off the defensive skate. Doesn't matter. They don't ask how you scored your first. Maybe they do ask how you scored your first NHL goal. But then he got an assist right away. If anyone doesn't think that he is going to win the Calder, they're probably just crazy. I would love to see the sports on as well, too. And how old is he?
18 years old and 119 days.
We had a good
hours and 20 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. We had, since he breached his mother's belly, I guess.
Yeah.
4 hours. No, but we had a good laugh, but it was 119 days. He's gonna win it though. That's gonna be a good coming up in the future show. His projections for award.
I'd love that.
Just thought of that right now. We're doing it live.
Gotta write it down, dude.
No, I'll put it in the chat group. Let's just do it, though. Let's just get right into it. Once again, the nerds, they're the guys who did all the homework Those are the guys who are digging into these stats and why they like their team, not their team, the team that they think got better.
I'm very biased.
Same. Oh, you will see. You will see how biased I am.
Wait till we start talking about the Leafs, boy.
Yeah, I know.
His two teams that he picked that he liked their offseason moves were Calgary and Calgary.
Yeah.
Not being the Flames and the Wranglers. Too.
Exactly.
Levin Coop loves it.
I actually do love them.
I wanted, before we get going, Josh always has sweet jerseys. Well done. He's got the Columbus Blue Jackets, Johnny Gaudreau jersey.
I do.
Josh, your favorite Johnny Gaudreau moment?
Oh, there's a ton. There's a ton to
Favorite.
pick, but the first one that comes to mind right away, Game 7 of the 2022 playoffs against Dallas.
Yeah, that's the one I thought of.
The OT winner where he like short angle there, roofs it.
Yeah,
Just
Austin was tough to beat.
Oh,
Series.
he
I
was
remember that.
insane. He was the only reason that series went to 7. The Flames were by far the better team that year. And Ottinger just decided, no, I might single-handedly steal the series. And he nearly did. But no, that was just beautiful moment for Gaudreau. You see Monahan waiting for him in the tunnel afterwards, the big hug. Just, so iconic. So iconic moment for him. And it's just a damn shame that he's gone.
God rest him and his brother's soul. I'm glad that you wore that jersey.
Oh, had
Glad we got that in there, too. I actually know the goal you're talking about. You're right. It was very short.
Great goal.
He had a big old fat stick on him, too, his blade. He was one of the first guys that I could remember. How long was he in the league-ish for?
I think he was 11 years, because I think he played about 9 years with Calgary and he had 2 seasons with Columbus.
First forwards I remember that had that fat stick on it. We see a lot of the NHL centermans that have it. One that comes to mind is Gaudreau has also had that. You know what I'm talking about, right? That really
Excel
hockey blade. You see a lot of the defensemen, like the Tanevs have it and stuff like that, but he had that big old paddle blade on him, and yeah, boy, could he rip the puck. He really could. That was a great memory. I'm glad we got that in there. Aaron, are you ready to take the reins for, I have it written down here. Do not look over and see how I spelt it. Acquisitions.
Acquisitions. There you go.
There's a K in there, right? Acquisitions. Am I saying that right? Why?
Oh,
Why? I said accusations.
Accusations. Yeah, no, that's what we're talking about. The Carter Hart saga there. That's the NHL accusations thing.
We may be accusing some team.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good one.
The team's best ads.
There you go.
Pick 2 of them each.
A simple word.
I'm only going to pick, obviously, 1, because that's just how Grit does it. Geek 1 to my left, or I should say Nerd 1 to my left. Aaron, your team that you thought got better this offseason.
I'm going to go first with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I'm saying this because everyone seemed to just only focus on Stamkos. And I feel like fair enough.
That's fair.
I understand why. I understand the impact he had over them. But they still got a window here with Kucherov and Vasilevsky and all these guys. The Sharks, the fans, they're getting into it. They're all doing this close to their
the chomp.
That literally, that's what that's from.
Yeah.
EA Sports has that in the game, and I could never understand. They had that as a power play opening. I'm like, what are they?
We're watching the San Jose St. Louis game once again. It's a power play thing.
Yeah.
So they do the double-handed chop.
I do the chomp.
Like the
It's
baby
great.
shark.
Yeah,
thing.
that's exactly what it is.
I think that's Daddy Shark.
That's 100%. Grandpa Shark, it's Joe Thornton.
I'm sorry about that. I had no idea that was what that was.
Oh, I like it. That was very nerdy of you guys to both just dial into that.
Go completely off the rails. It's not even 10 minutes in.
It makes so much sense, though. So, but what I was saying, though, is with the window that Tampa has with Kucherov, Vasilevsky, even the last few years of Hedman at 33, this team can still win. And by getting a guy like Gensel, who's way more effective at 5-on-5 at this point, it just makes sense. You get the younger guy. San Jose scores again. They are on fire. They're going to be trying to make the playoffs, I guess.
Stop madness. Get back to Tampa.
Tampa, I love the interesting thing with their big trade they made in the offseason was Sergachev. They moved him, and that's a really interesting one. But I'm glad that they made the risk because Tampa, to me, ever since that they had their cup-winning teams, the cap crunch really got their depth from them. And so by moving Sergachev, like if Tampa is trying to offer a first-round pick, teams don't want a 25th overall pick for, a good young, like NHL-ready player. So the Lightning had to give up an actual piece from their roster in order to get young depth back in their team.
Which they did.
Sergachev, we're going to talk fantasy later. He went to
Utah.
He went to Utah. I almost said Seattle there for a second. He went to Utah. That is going to be a good bona fide power play quarterback up top, fantasy value. Sergachev. I know that is. I like him. I know he was hurt, but he was just that guy that was just like, he was really just snapping the puck around for them on the power play. And he even dethroned Hedman there as well, too. Talk about quick fantasy value and then staying on the bolt. So Hedman's fantasy value is going to go up. He is going to be the sole leader and quarterback of that power play. No more Sergachev.
Ryan McDonough, the return of Ryan McDonough.
Stop it. He'll be blocking 8 shots a game on the penalty kill.
That's the thing. I like that was another good name that you brought back, McDonough. I know he's 35, but he's another guy like Tanev that probably has a year or two left, and that's what he has left in his contract. Yeah. It's not like Toronto who just signed Tanev for 6 years. And I know McDonough's at $6.75 million, so it's a large amount, but he's been in that system. He was hoping, even asked Nashville, he's like, can I get back? Yes, Trotz, right? That's the GM.
Yeah.
He said, can I get back to Tampa if there's any way? And Trotz, loved this player, and he gave him what he wished for, got him back to Tampa. I like the moves that they made there. I'm not necessarily saying that the Sergachev will be a win, but I like the bet they made because I don't think they had many other options to get good young pieces. I like J.J. Moser.
J.J. Moser's sick.
Young puck-moving defenseman, can play good minutes. He'll be there to learn the smarts of the game from Hedman and McDonough to completely round it out. He wasn't even that, he's not a defensively liable defenseman.
No, he was like one of their best. It was him and Jersey were Arizona's best defensemen last year.
Yeah.
And they were good too. Like they wasn't like, oh, Arizona meh. Like no, they were actually really good quality players.
Yeah. So they got him at a good contract at $3.3 million there. And then you got Connor Geekie, a former first-round pick. He's big. He's a centerman, which is huge. It's so hard to get good young centermen in the league any time now. And they even got a second-round pick in there and a 7th. We can't forget the 7th.
That's true.
But they got a second-round pick.
I think that's what made the deal go through, that 7th-round pick. Yeah. Nashville wouldn't have done or Tampa wouldn't have done it. If
Weebaugh was like, yeah, I kind of traded all my picks when I acquired Jeannot. Do you think I could
get one back? Yeah.
He was asking for it. So, yeah. But I like the moves they made there. And they let go of Jeannot. And they actually got a 2nd and a 4th for Jeannot. He didn't work out very well. I actually like that move for LA to take a bet on a guy like Jeannot as their player. Maybe he pans out better, but I like Tampa saying, okay, we lost with the Jeannot trade. It didn't work very well. We saved some money and we get picks, which again, they can use those picks, reacquire players. And like I said, I just like the Gensel ad. I like all those ads.
I like Cam Axon too. That is a good one. Listen though, dude, man, you on the side of you think they got better because that's what we're talking about right now in the moves. But man, just losing Stammer, that sucks, man. I don't care. That is Steve Yzerman leaving and at the end of his prime. Let's get real. Stam goes at the end of his prime. That's like Joe Sakic leaving at the end of his prime. But then, I can't say, never mind. I was going to go off and be Ginler took so long to leave, but he didn't have a cup ring or 2.
Yeah.
Right. So the cup's there. Stammer's going to have a ton of fun in Nashville. I feel like one of you guys are going to mention Nashville when we get going here in a second. What? But just Stammer leaving, man, that sucked. And I will say, if Vasilevsky gets back to being the best goalie in the league, then that will, it will put some Band-Aids on any type of cuts or scars they have with losing their captain. But yeah, Gensel he's good, man. And when Kucherov's now, Yeah, well, you know what? I will allow that. I will allow that to be said in a very humbled way. Yes, he is. But at the end of their career, Stamkos will be the better player. I think so.
Yeah.
Will you guys allow that?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's what I agree. I mean, like,
Just got off my grit there a little bit.
is arguably the Lightning's best player in franchise history.
I don't think there's a doubt that he is.
I mean, the St. Louis was pretty sick too.
Yeah.
Kucherov could be at
Kucherov could be as well, but I think
That's
now
what I think this is Kucherov's 31. It says he's 31 on here. So if they go with an older player like Stamkos at $8 million and he falls off in a year or two, but you get Gensel, like, this just works way better for them to stay, like, truly competitive and even get better.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Big Gensel fan.
I will say there's no doubt about it, though. And it's obvious, but Nashville has gotten better since they got Stamkos for them, for sure. But it was just kind of weird. It was kind of weird because he signed when everyone thought maybe he was going to come to Toronto or he was going to chase some big bucks, and he just like, this was truly like, okay, everyone's ready to move on. Like, let's move on. And obviously Victor Hedman's going to be rocking the C. I think if he's not already just like pound for pound the best defenseman in the league, he's going to have a good big year. He's just got to stay healthy, but he's going to have a huge year. Vasilevsky and Hedman, we know Kucherov's the man. We know Gensel is probably going to score 40 goals. I like that. I appreciate that one. Let's get over to Joshua. Time to flex your nerdism.
Right.
Who is your one of two that you like with this offseason and ads?
Well, you mentioned, both of you mentioned this team earlier there to no one's shock. We were time to talk about the Nashville Predators, because I feel like there's not a ton to get into. It's not like they made like a bunch of really sneaky good pickups. No, they just went out and spent a bunch of money. They brought in Stamkos for 4 years. They brought in Marchessault for 5 years, and they brought in Brady Shea for 7 years. Like that, like overall, like, it's a lot of money, but like, those are really good players. You get those three guys. That makes your D-core deeper. That makes your four, like, they're still kind of hurting on center. I mean, like, O'Reilly's sick. Tommy Novak is fine. And Colton Sissons, and who the heck is this guy? McCarron? I don't. Who McCarron?
Former first-round pick.
Hold on. Who's Brady Shea? Did you say that right?
Yeah, Brady Shea. Yeah.
SKJEI. Yeah, because if I'm reading that like 40 seconds before you did, I'm not saying Shea.
Yeah.
Brady Shea, who is that?
That's excellent.
Carolina's losses this offseason.
Yeah.
He actually had like, let me go double check and make sure, but I'm pretty sure he had like a 51-point season. He was like the guy right behind Slavin.
Yeah. No, Shea was sick. That was a huge loss for Carolina. That's a huge ad for. That's gonna take so much pressure off of Yossi as well.
Yeah,
they just got so much better. And like you mentioned earlier, they have elite backup goaltender Scott Wedgwood. Guy's sick. Yeah. Guy is sick.
What a beauty. Scott Wedgwood.
I laugh, but like, actually, Scott Wedgwood is like a very good backup. But I mean, you just add, especially Stamkos and Marchessault, who both, from the sound of it, kind of feel like they got a little spurned by the teams that they're like known for. They're gonna come into Nashville there with a chip on their shoulder and be like, "Hey, we're gonna show you that you should have kept us around instead." And yeah, I mean, Nashville was sneaky good last year. They had that 16-0-2 streak there after Barry Trotz canceled the U2 concert.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that was a thing. I seen that on the NHL on Prime.
Hilarious.
That was interesting.
But it worked, and they made the playoffs there, and they gave the Canucks a run for their money. I really think in that first round, like, it was the Canucks won, like, of course, obviously, and
it's interesting. I didn't have a doubt that the Canucks could and would beat them.
Yeah.
But I knew Nashville also, like the way they play.
Yeah, you didn't
be in game.
Yeah, you did. You didn't look at. I don't think any of us looked at that series and went, "Oh, that's a walk in the park for Vancouver."
It wasn't going to be a sweep.
No.
Very confident 6 games or 7 games.
Yeah, I looked at that and I remember going through all the playoff matchups in the first round and looking at it and like, you know what? If there's going to be an upset, Nashville.
Yeah,
I felt now pretty good about that. Like,
and for the team that hadn't made the playoffs for
exactly,
right? So that's understandable.
So
here's one that stands out for me, boys. It says, in addition with Stamkos and Marchessault, especially with their impact of coming off 40-goal seasons, both of them. Now Nashville, for the first time in the history of their franchise, has elite scorers on their team. And
that is,
I will say Marchessault is maybe not an elite scorer, but Stamkos was the elite scorer in the NHL for a while there.
Yep.
Almost he was like almost around that Ovechkin status, is just like an elite scorer. So who else is an elite scorer in the history of Nashville Predators?
Filip Forsberg. Also is.
He's not an elite one. Stop.
Sorry.
First of all, Philip Forsberg, he's also what I'm calling him Philippe. He looks like a Philippe. His mustache makes him. His mustache goes from a Philip to a Philippe. By the way, he's on that NHL Prime, and he's a cool dude, and I did not realize how good he was.
Oh, yeah, I have him.
And he has a wife. She's all hockey wives are very pretty, and she's like a country singer as well, too. She was pretty cool on there. Anyways, I didn't realize who he was. I knew who he was, but he was playing with a bummed up ankle, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was like the main feature of him on that Prime. Have you guys seen that? I don't want to jump into it. Okay. We can't jump into it. It's almost we're like a whole podcast just talking about that. I don't think we have to worry about any copyright issues yet, boys. So let's get off Nashville. The city's going to be buzzing. The place is going to be buzzing. Like, the fans there are super awesome, and I just think it's going to be an absolute new breath of fresh air for Stammer. He doesn't have to worry about any hurricanes. He just has to worry about, drunken cowboys and just keeping them happy.
Yeah, I think I just want to quickly say on Nashville, that's a fan base that needs a cup. Like even for being one of the youngest.
There are so many more teams that need cups, but yeah, if they win a cup, it will be one of the sickest party places on the planet for like at least a solid 2 weeks. That would be like a bucket list. If like a standard and above average hockey fan now would put that on their bucket list.
Oh, yeah.
Like they would 100% put like if we're talking like game at MSG, go watch the Leafs like lose at home 6-5 in a shitty and overtime in Ottawa, but just like suckle at the teat of like the and then go to Vancouver and just like see everyone else on their cell phones while the games are on and get up and dance when weird music comes up. If that's your bucket list, I went on a rant there. Trust me, there'll be a lot more of those. But Nashville is a hockey bucket list, and there's no doubt about Stamkos and Marchessault making them a much more elite cup contender, and they've been hanging around.
I think they had to do it mainly for a guy like Yossi, who's been at the top of the league for so long. If they don't make those moves ever, he's 34 right now. Like, this is a guy that's been in Norris contention for, the last 5 to maybe even probably more so 5 years where he had like these point per game seasons. Like, you have a defenseman like that, and they never, outside of like that first real run they had with Subban there and all those, outside of that, they haven't really pushed for it.
No. He's got a trigger man though. He's got a trigger man on the power play. I wish I knew Stamkos shoots right. I know that.
Yeah.
Does Marchessault shoot left?
Forsberg, Stamkos, and Marchessault are all right-handed.
Whoa. So one of them's going to have to be up front. Anyways, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they will.
They got a lot better. And yeah, I like that little shout-out. That Roman Josi, the captain of that team, he was probably ecstatic when he seen that those big shooters were coming in town.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get off of it. We're rolling along here. We're rolling along now. We're going back to you, Aaron.
You should go. Yeah, you have your one team. You go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Yeah, you want me to go?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like you to go.
Yeah.
Okay, then you guys are probably not gonna like this one.
He's
But-
picking the Leafs.
No, I'm actually not, but I'm going with the Kraken. Like you guys both hate
That's a
that.
hot take.
Yeah,
I'm
you
excited-
guys
I'm
hate
excited to
that?
hear about this.
No, but I like Montour. I just think that he
100%.
did some good stuff. But you know what? This is a team that they're not like gonna win this year, but they're just like going for. But goaltending is an issue for them. But honestly, though, I don't know. I don't have too much ammo with the Kraken, but I just think that they're just going to kind of fly under the radar, and I think that Montour is probably going to be their captain in, like a year or two?
That's true.
Exactly. That's what I said, in a year or two. Come on, Jordan Eberle's not going to be the Kraken's captain in 3 years. He's not going to be, but like I just really, really like their team, and I think that... Yeah, no, I like Jared McCann, though. I really, really like him. And Jaden Schwartz as well, too. But their goaltending, man. Like, their goaltending makes me, like, legitimately...
And they just extended Decord.
It's kind of funny that they have Larson in front of Montour. Kind of funny they have Larson in front of Montour, though, but...
Larson's good. They could, to be fair, the Kraken could take advantage of, like, a weak Pacific Division, because... I mean, you got multiple, like 3 teams in there for sure are going to finish like bottom 5, 6. The Canucks without Demko could fall off hard if he's not, especially if he's not playing. If he's playing okay, then they'll probably be all right. But if he's not playing at all, and then you're just left with Edmonton and the Kings. So like,
well, that's funny because we'll have to do the standings another day because I view it a little differently with some of those teams. But I will say, in regard to the Kraken, you might talk about them later, Josh, potentially, but I liked the players they added. I just don't know that that's a team that really needed to spend that money. Like, for a team like Nashville, to me, it made sense. You have 34-year-old Norris-type defenseman in Yossi. But for Seattle, it's like, you said you like McCann. Like, he's probably their best forward at this point. You know, and Beniers is the future, and Shane Wright's there.
I don't know. I'm kind of like backpedaling a little bit as well too. But Chandler Stevenson as well too is going to cost them more than $6 million. Like he's got to have like a 75-point, 80-point season.
Second line center. Like it's not going to be that.
Hey, but you know what though? There's a chance. They believe in that obviously for that type of money.
He is a really strong skater and he's versatile. And I'm a big Stevenson fan, but it's a lot of money for a guy that's like a secondary piece.
Yeah.
For me.
Did you guys hate that?
They were on my bad list.
I wasn't going to talk about them, but they would have been on my bad list as well. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go to you then next, Aaron. Let's go back to you. Let's see what you got, and who do you like there?
I have a few teams that are like really close for me, and I know Josh has a couple of the other ones that I probably would have picked. Like Nashville was up there. The other team he's going to talk about is up there. I'm going to go and lean towards the team. It's not going to be very flashy. I like what Vancouver did, obviously, with the Bresk. I'm going to go and say that Florida, by keeping the right guys, making some smart bets, and also, again, they had to be choosy with their money, and I like Montour, but I think that was the right call to go with. Like, if you had to spend money, I think it made more sense to keep Reinhart in a good contract and keep the other guy, Verhaeghe, who I'm a big Verhaeghe fan. They just, that was less of an Aussie, and that one just happened the other day. Like $7 million for a guy who's like their fourth best forward, but like on any night he can be their top goal scorer. Like he is awesome. They still got to figure out how to re-sign Sam Bennett, but they extended Reinhart. They extended Lundell, who's a really good young center, at $5 million. Like that's going to be a bargain in like right now. Like he's just he probably could be their second line center, and if they don't re-sign Bennett, he probably will be. And then they got, I like the Boqvist ad. He is an absolute Band-Aid, but that's a guy who even in Columbus, he put up a couple points on the power play. They gave him as much, if not more, power play time than Werenski when he was there. But the problem was he wasn't always there. Yeah. Again, very Band-Aid. But that's like exactly the kind of bet you make. Can you find another, cheap guy or waiver wire guy, just like they did with Forsling? So, and they got a good, like with Maurice there, and they can totally coach defense into that guy. They also added Nate Schmidt, who former Canuck, legend. I just think that making those moves, like keeping the right guys at the right money, is one of the biggest victories. It's not flashy. There's a couple other teams I could have picked. But, I think that Florida is totally capable of a repeat.
You ready for the repeat?
I am ready for it. I like them.
They're good. They're a good chance to win it.
I know they went to the finals even the year before, but they were really banged up then. So I think they could go back to the finals and win. I would probably see it more than Edmonton. To me, Edmonton needs to add a defenseman still. Or Emberson's legit a top four guy. That's asking for quite a bit. Who is it for a guy that was, middling defenseman on San Jose last year?
Yeah.
But I know Oilers fans will see the analytics and be like, yep, this guy's a shutdown stud. And I get it. And he could be. But let's just see how he goes. So
I like Nate Schmidt, though. Honestly, I feel like this is a guy who can just kind of turn things around for him going forward. He's only going to make the team better. You're getting those grit guys, though, like I'm not going to call Reinhart, but Sam Bennett, like for what everyone in that deal, like the Bennett deal, has to be happy. Like every single one of the people, the agent, the player, the families, and obviously the organization, he's not going anywhere. He knows exactly where he stands on the team. He knows exactly what his role is.
You said Bennett. Bennett's not signed yet. That's the one guy they haven't re-signed.
Yeah.
They got Reinhart.
Yeah, for less than $9 million.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So Bennett's got 1 year left?
Yeah.
They got to sign him during the season. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Because if he goes to free agent, sorry, that's my bad. I actually read that wrong. If he goes to free agency, that is like a guy that team will be clawing at him.
Well, how can Stevenson get what he got and Bennett not be like, give me money?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a fair point.
It's like, I just helped the Florida Panthers win the cup. Pay me.
Are you ready? You ready to go on? Let's keep going here. Let's do it. Let's keep going. So you're two of two teams. I actually have no clue. We talked about a couple before, but this one I have no clue where you're going here.
It's another team that they didn't, from what I'm looking at here on their roster, they didn't make a ton of big additions in the offseason, but I just really like what they did, and that's the New Jersey Devils. They add the biggest thing I think for sure is just adding Jacob Markstrom. You go from having very inconsistent goaltending, who they were costing them games. They were literally costing the Devils games last season.
I feel like this guy's a Calgary fan.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you look at Markstrom's numbers last season on a Flames team that was not good, and then traded all of their defensemen and got worse. And he got better. He got better as the season went on. He was sick. He had a great year last year. So you add that at where Calgary retained just under $2 million on it. So
he's at 4.125.
Yeah, for 2 years. That's a good deal for New Jersey.
Yeah, even at 34, I think he'll still be fine.
Oh, he should still. Yeah, no, he should still.
He's big, but he's always been mobile.
Yeah, no, he's a sick goalie. He performed well in his first game there. Where would they play?
Prague.
Prague. He was great there. Did not win tonight, unfortunately. I'm sad about that. I do have.
Yeah, my Leafs lit him up. Yeah. 3 goals in the first.
Yeah, I do have him in fantasies, but I think Markstrom is going to be a sick goalie this year, and you get Jake Allen as a backup. That's a really good tandem.
Yeah,
it's not super
last year, but that's a perfect veteran back. Both of those
exactly.
As a young, well, I mean, a lot of their team is young. I'm thinking obviously the Houston guys.
Yeah,
but that leadership group, even with Jake Allen in there, they got to look at that guy in the room and be like, we don't have a guy that's inexperienced or a question mark, or this guy's a fringe starter.
Yeah.
Jake Allen is a veteran, experienced guy. He will give them reasonably, he's not going to let in too many bad goals.
No, he either exactly. And you know what? I just thought of that. Both your goalies are named Jake, so that's got to count for something, right?
Definitely.
Such a nerdy thing to say.
Am I wrong?
But it's a perfect fit for him. He is going to do well. He's got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And he's got a tremendous decor in front of him as well, dude. When that Hughes kid comes back as well, too, he wrecked his shoulder. He's out 5 to 7 weeks. He wrecked it training.
Yeah. That was the other things they saw. The people decided they got Brett Pesce in the offseason there, and Brendan Dillon, which Brendan Dillon, like the solid NHL defenseman, not like the best, but very serviceable. And Brett Pesce is very good.
Brendan Dillon, like if
Sharks legend, by the way. Sharks legend. Brendan Dillon.
100%. In all honesty, looking at this defense, if you see Nemec taking a step and you see Hughes in the line, Dillon's arguably, I would say, their sixth defenseman.
Yeah.
Like, I really like Siegenthaler.
Siegenthaler's good.
Really good shutdown defenseman, 27 years old, really good cap hit. Like, this defense, this is one of the best defenses in the league. And it's only getting better with those young guys in Hughes and Nemec. So,
exactly.
Yeah, that's nasty defense there. And even like, New Jersey gets ads just by their team being healthy. Hamilton was hurt
for one last
for points last year was hurt. I think I'm pretty sure both Timo and Nico were both injured for very short points at last year.
Yeah.
This is a team that was plagued by injuries.
Yeah.
And had mediocre goaltending. So
works. That's one of the worst goaltending in the league.
Yeah. This is why this team is going from like a team that was not even fighting for a playoff spot. Like even Philly was fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
New Jersey wasn't really fighting in that last month. Now people like I would have them potentially winning the division with the ads they made.
Yeah.
And if they stay healthy, like that's how good this team is. So.
Yeah. Well, because they didn't add much to their forward core, but they didn't need to.
I love him.
Great player. Great.
I love this guy. That from present.
Paul Cotter, Golden Knights legend. Actually, Paul Cotter could be cool. Could be good.
Yeah, Cotter, that was an interesting move because they moved on from Holtz. He was a really high first-round pick, 7th overall, and he goes to Vegas. And they threw Akira Schmidt in there, and he was their starter a year or two ago when New Jersey was in the playoffs. And
he beat out Igor Shesterkin in that series. It was hilarious
against the Rangers.
Yeah,
that was interesting. That New Jersey was willing to give up both of those guys, but they got Cotter, who is like he made a really nice highlight reel goal. So it looks like a guy like last year, between the legs and then roofs it. This is a guy at like 24. It says he's center. He could probably play center or wing.
Yeah.
And he's just speed, skill, and this guy puts up hits in fantasy. If you need a couple of hits on a night, pick Cotter because he did that quite a bit last year. So he even put up 2 points in his first game at the start of the year. So he may be a lot better if he gets some time with Nico or Jack.
I like it. You guys were really nerding it up there. I like that.
I think we both like New Jersey.
Yes.
For what they did.
Okay. Yeah. You want me to go? Okay.
No, we don't want you to go. Not yet.
Okay. That was me, you nerd.
No. Yeah.
This one, I have to remind you guys, though, what I think teams got better, and I think there's no doubt about it, that the Chicago Blackhawks and Connor Bedard as a team got better. I really, really do. Starting with my boy in Toronto, Tyler Bertuzzi. I feel like he can just bring a better identity to this power play. Does he deserve to be on the top unit? Sure, why not? Who was on it last year? Exactly. Yeah. Get the puck to Connor in space and see what he does, and then go to the net. If he doesn't rip it bar down, he might hit the crossbar lid on your stick. But Mikheyev, I feel like the honeymoon phase is over on when he went on his kind of what his abilities are when he went to Vancouver. But that's kind of like they've had a clean break, and he's kind of just like, I'm going to a team that doesn't have much pressure. He's going to have natural pressure. Did they sign him as a free agent?
So he was traded.
Yeah, I have no clue, but I just see that he's on the team now.
Round pick. Vancouver retained a smidge on his contract, but they got a second-round pick. So
that's a sick deal.
Vancouver is actually like a perfect example of the Blackhawks again taking a player that probably as we all know, and as you saw in Toronto, he can be an effective third liner. Like, he can be. He doesn't have a lot of...
He can own that role, yes.
And so,
He's fast, too, and he's not a power forward, but he has some...
he has size.
Yeah.
He's not a small player. So that's a guy that they could easily retain at any point, either this year or next year, and they could just trade him and get another second-round pick. They got a pick to take him. So I love it for filling out their roster just with another veteran. And like you said, no pressure. You know, he can just be asked to, you know, just be a hardworking penalty killer alongside Jason Dickinson. And maybe they re-sign him to a huge contract like they did with Dickinson. So sorry, I took your... I ran with
I appreciate that. I'm gonna skip past a couple of the big names, but I'm gonna land on Alex Martinez. I mean, they had him slotted in. They're gonna play with Seth Jones. Is he a guy who's gonna take pressure off Jones's game? I don't know about that, but he's a skill skating defenseman. Like he's got a good stride, a good feet underneath him. TJ Brody, former Flame, is he a guy that's going to play all 82 games? Probably not. He'll probably have like a bruised foot. He'll play like 60 games.
Probably neither Brody or Martinez.
But I'm okay. Like I'm okay with him being there, and I'm okay with. I agree. It's perfect for the room, and I appreciate that pickup. Goaltending, Mrazek's not the guy. Like he's not the guy to get 36 shots a night and handle it that well. Like I don't know. They didn't. Let me just put they didn't get better at goaltending. They certainly didn't.
They had a Bourgeois, but again, it's just two fringe guys, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like Bourgeois as a backup, but they're going to play it as a tandem, and they're not. They're going to be among the bottom tandems in the league.
How about this one though? Coming back to Chicago and Teuvo Teravainen.
I like that.
I like that a lot too. He's just going to bring more skill to the lineup that already has one of the most young, skilled players in the league. Right here, they got Foligno, Bedard, and Teravainen. I would love to see Taylor Hall bump up to that line. Like, Taylor Hall he's still got it, man. He's still got lots of miles in the tank, man. Like, he really, really does. And he's a good skater. He has a big, long stride. He covers a lot of ice. Hey, I seen it when he was on my high school hockey team. Shout out Toe Drag. But he's just got to move up to that front line. Foligno, just take a step back.
You're throwing in a guy who's a big guy.
I know, but you know what? I'm also getting off topic because Foligno is already on the team kind of thing. You know what you're going to get from Nick Foligno.
Yeah,
exactly. I agree that's a good captain. He's proven before that he could be a good captain when he was spanking our Leafs in the bubble. So,
that's right.
But Teravainen, I really, really, really like that one.
Teravainen's career high 76 points.
I think he could get 80 points this year. I think he could get a career high. How old is he?
He's like 30.
Sorry. What's today?
I thought he was going to the days. That would have been ridiculous.
And 190.
That would have been ridiculous.
No, his birthday, it says, is September 11th, which means he just turned 30. He's actually, I thought he was going to be turning 31. He just turned 30. So actually not that old.
That was to me my one to hammer into which team got better. No more time needs to be spent on them unless we're talking about Connor Bedard. But I do believe the Chicago Blackhawks got better.
Very quickly, Bertuzzi, his career high was 62 points with Detroit in 68 games. Minus 11, but with Bedard, he could potentially put up a couple points if he moves up. Yeah. That could be Hall, that could be Bertuzzi.
I hope it's Hall. I hope Taylor Hall puts up 85 points this year. I wouldn't say it because he's probably going to break his finger or something weird. He's going to break his leg or finger or something weird. But yeah, I hope he puts up 80 points because you know that if he does play with Bedard, and those guys could just be super awesome. And Bedard could be like a shot of like youth back into Taylor Hall's career, and he deserves it because it's been like a rocky road ever since he won the Hart. You remember that Hart?
Yeah.
For the Devils? That was crazy.
Great season. It should have been McKinnon.
Hey, you took me to the game. You and your dad took me to that game that year he won the Hart.
Yeah. It was sick that year.
Yeah, Vancouver versus the Devils.
I think the Canucks won that game, didn't they?
You know what?
I feel like they did.
Was that the game that Tyler Hall, absolutely...
Tyler Hall.
I said Tyler
Hall. Yeah.
True. Taylor Hall. Was that the game that he destroyed? Who was it? I feel like it was like Philip Larson. There was like a Canucks defenseman that he just obliterated. Was it?
No, I would have remembered that.
Yeah, it was a pretty big hit. There was a game against the Canucks that he destroyed. I'm pretty sure Myers or something but after too.
I still remember that before that game too. I was sitting beside the Power Boys. I was in the middle. And your dad just gives me like the healthy shoulder tap. He's like, hey, like, I'm not going to try to be rude, but I'm listening to the game in the earpiece.
Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest vintage thing ever. It's just listening to the game on the radio with this just like, it's this Cerebro earpiece and listening to the game. It's like, I'm not trying to be antisocial, but I'm also just listening to the game.
Yeah.
Yo, can we just quickly give some love to Taylor Hall? That year, it was a tandem, but the starting goaltender going into the playoffs was Keith Kincaid.
Oh, blockade. I love
what?
Kincaid.
There's a goaltender in the NHL named Keith Kincaid.
Yeah, I love him.
I feel like you guys are punking me right now.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, that guy's sick. No, he was at the Islanders training camp.
What? We can't. Oh, guys, let's not get on too much of a Keith Kincaid tangent here, please. I'm reeling in the nerds right now.
Why Hall won the Hart? So he had 93 points, 39 goals, 54 assists.
Yeah.
The second guy in points from 93 to...
This is good stuff, actually. I'm interested.
Was Misha Heischer.
They didn't have...
They didn't have Jack Hughes at that point. No.
No, that was they got him next.
I would have guessed Heischer.
This would have been... the next year they would have tanked.
Yeah.
And won the lottery. So Heischer, they had
I'll
him.
get that.
But then after that...
Josh, get nerd. Who's like the third and fourth and fifth
Off
guy?
the top of my head.
New Jersey, Kyle Palmieri.
Right. Forgot about him.
52 to 44 points.
Jeez.
And then their number one D-man this year. You got to get this. I don't know why. You just have to because it's so like...
What, this year?
No. The number one defenseman for the Devils the year that they won the Hart.
That was 17-18?
They won the Hart. They did not win the Hart. Taylor Hall won the Hart.
Sorry, yeah. No.
Oh, that was a good guess.
This guy's not in the NHL. Sorry. And
Just tell us.
Is this Andy Green?
No.
Damn.
Captain Andy Green.
That would have been funny.
Can
Do you remember
tell us?
Will Butcher?
Oh,
Wow, that American guy. I remember having...
sweepstakes from college.
Yeah, I
Yes, and he
remember
turned
being
into
obsessed with this guy, picking him up in fantasy. And I'm like, this guy's going to score 70 points. And he just never did.
It was so
He was undersized, too, wasn't he? Was he like 5'11"? Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, he wasn't a 6-footer, that's for sure.
He went 44 points, 30 points, 21 points, 11 points, 8. So now some of those are games going lower, but like within 2 years, he's not a full-time regular. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Facts, though, Taylor Paul played on my high school hockey team.
You mentioned that.
I was in grade 12, he was in grade 9. Yeah, that was his nickname. Our coach, Mr. Kenny, gave him Toe Drag was his nickname. He was not drafted yet. He got drafted. Yeah, the school was the Frontenac Falcons, buddy. But he wasn't drafted yet. He actually got drafted in the O to Windsor, first overall, and then in the NHL first overall. I wonder how many first overall guys there are. Tavares has got to be one. We're going to get off here a little bit of a tangent, but Tavares has got to be one, too. He got drafted first overall in the O, and they got drafted first overall in the NHL. Obviously, McDavid.
Stamkos?
For the Sarnia Sting. We're going off, though. We got to reel it back in.
I agree.
You guys ready to reel it back in?
Yes. I think we should.
Okay, we picked the teams that we liked. You guys picked 2. I picked 1. Now we got to pick one team. We're going to do one team that we didn't like, essentially that we didn't think got better. I mean, you may despise some of the picks they got, but who do you actually think didn't get better? And Josh, you ready to go?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. We ready to sewer.
Oh, yeah. Who is the Flames fan gonna rag on? It could be anyone. It might even be the team north of them in the Edmonton Oilers. Because, all they got, I will admit, I'll give them this. They did add some good forwards.
In a good number.
Yes, Victor Arvidsson.
I like the Skinner.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm giving them credit for that. Like Skinner, 1 year, $3 million, good deal. Victor Arvidsson, $4 million for 2 years, good deal.
Fogle, though.
They lost Fogle. You mean you replace him with Arvidsson? That's
More skilled.
more skill. If he's in the lineup every night, that'll be really good.
Yeah.
Like they got Bob Coles in there from Vancouver, $1 million for 2 years. That's a low risk. Yeah, like that's a low risk deal. And they got what's his face, Matty Savoy there from Buffalo for like damn near nothing, which is
McLeod, right?
Yeah, I think
Which
so.
that was an iffy trade. Like I like what Buffalo's doing, and I'm okay that it was Savoy, but
Yeah,
I wonder if they could have got a better player.
that's fair. But that's about where the credit's going to stop for me, because I think they completely neglected the two areas that they actually needed to improve, which is their defense and goaltending. Because their defense, Ekholm Bouchard, still great. Nurse with that terrible deal. Is he like a terrible NHL defenseman? No, he does get walked sometimes. It's very funny. He's fine. If he was making like $4 million, $5 million, I think people are fine with it. Ty Emberson, who knows? Like
That is the problem.
we'll see. Like he could be all right.
For a cup contender.
Yeah, exactly. He could be all right. He could be crap. He was with the Sharks last year. The Sharks didn't want him. Like that's not a great sign, in my opinion. Flames legend Brett Kulak is the guy. Like,
The Edmonton Oilers got worse.
yes. Well, they didn't get better. I can tell you this: they didn't get.
So you're not happy that they didn't get better.
Me personally, I am happy they didn't.
I know you are. I think this is a bit of like a spite pick.
A little bit. Oh, yeah, no,
You're gonna love mine,
I'll
man.
take any chance to.
You're
rag
gonna
on the
love
Oilers.
The thing
mine.
is, I don't disagree a little bit with like it's obviously a little bit of a spike pick, but and I like the forwards, but I agree with you in that
They just ignored what
they
they needed.
didn't add to the defense, which is kind of they lost Broberg, which I like Broberg. I'm okay with them losing him.
They replace them.
That's the thing. With the draft picks they got in compensation and from that minor trade as part of it, I think that they're going to need to use the cap space that they would have spent on Broberg to get another defenseman.
Yeah.
But it's costly.
It's costing me.
And the guy you get is probably going to be older, and maybe you're okay with that because you're just trying to win now. But man, like that was their only other defenseman in the pipeline. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. They also got Bo Aki, but he's a couple years away.
Yeah.
So, and not like a premium prospect defenseman.
Yeah, it's like the other two defensemen they have on their roster is Travis Dermott and Troy Stetcher, like Flames legend Troy Stetcher.
And Canucks.
Canucks legend Troy Stetcher, exactly. And like those are guys.
And my wife's favorite player, Troy Stetcher.
You know, I like Troy Stetcher on the Flames. He was great, but like
He's a V, that's why.
that's fair. But like he like that defensive core. I mean, Ekholm's sick. Ekholm's great.
He's good.
Bouchard, 5 points.
Yeah.
Is very questionable as on end.
I think he'll get better. And again,
he should get better.
Yeah.
But like the rest of that decor is not good.
Yeah.
It really isn't. And your
Kulak's fine.
Kulak is fine. Nurse is overpaid to hell, but is still
Yeah.
an NHL defenseman. But then the rest of it is just kind of guys that who knows.
Yeah.
And then in net there you got Stuart Skinner, who you don't know what you're getting with him.
Out of this,
They didn't get better in net.
even the
First game.
They didn't get better.
got shelled, yeah.
He was
And
terrible.
to me, some of those goals were also once again the defense.
Yeah.
You can't not improve. You can't improve neither. You have to do it with one. I think they're going to target the defense because obviously McDavid has backed Skinner with comments, whatnot. Or
Yeah.
even last year in the playoffs, they're like, he's our guy.
You should get a better guy.
Yeah,
Get a better guy.
I know what.
Dude lost his job in the middle of the second round to Calvin Pickard.
Yeah, and Picard's fine, but what's
Like-
journeyman?
Yeah, journeyman, like that's another. You're gonna go with you're gonna try and make another cup run with like Skinner and Pickard. Like Skinner had an unreal stat where it was like from like game 4 onward, he would just be like, okay, I'm good all of a sudden.
Yeah,
But then the first like 3 games of the series, he's trash.
that's the problem.
He's trash.
He's just inconsistent.
Like
He can be good.
he can be, yeah.
Inconsistent.
He has those moments where I'm like, damn, he's actually looking pretty good. And then he has his moments like last night where what did he give up? He gave up 5 goals on like 16 shots or something like that.
Got pulled or not?
He got yanked. Yeah, he got yanked.
Oh yeah.
It was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
Like, that's like what you're going to. And, like, you know what? They extend Draisaitl, which is good for them. $14 million for 8 years.
I think that's fine.
I think there's nothing wrong with that deal. In a vacuum, it's he's absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to drag on another team here a little bit. You look at the Leafs, what they did with you're paying all the money to, like, a few guys.
Yeah. Respectfully, with forward money, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, that ain't it. Because are you going to trade Draisaitl?
No, I know exactly. You're kind of it's a no-win situation.
Yeah,
there.
that's the thing.
Like, unless you trade him and get, like, a bunch of sick, like,
if you get players back,
young guys, but who's going to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's going to do that and be able to
teams that would? But like when you don't have the leverage, right?
Exactly.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe they would have, but the point is they signed it. And I think it's fine. Like $14 million, I think is with
how he is absolutely
fair.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely fair.
But
and I think he did want to be there.
Like,
and if he hit the open market, I think he could have got a little more. I don't think it would have necessarily been like 16 or anything, but I think it could have been a little.
Could have been more. Could have been like 14.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
The other problem with how much money that is, though, is they've been kind of struggled to put like good defensive cores and have like consistent depth.
Yeah.
With that, and Draisaitl making 8.5, which is a steal of a deal.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna up him by like what, $5.5 million?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You also have to extend McDavid soon.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
some of that.
But in some fairness, that is with the cap, like with the cap going up in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, well,
that's the problem. Is their best years, which are right now in the next 2 or 3 years, until the cap goes fully up. When those extensions kick in, they're gonna be really in a crunch, and they're only gonna be able to fill out their team, at least like forwards and whatnot, and improve any defense by paying for either guys that are already signing with them for good deals, which are, Skinner and Arvidsson, or on defense, it's like you gotta have money retained on a guy, which costs draft picks, it costs prospects. They don't have a lot. They might have to trade Savoy within a year, just to get a defenseman at a good cap hit or something, right? So that is, I mean, I don't want it to make it like a Calgary versus Vancouver thing. I think what they've done so far, I think they've been the right moves. The problem is it may be hard to see it right now because they need to make more moves to get there. Yeah. I don't know if this team, maybe they can get back there, but I don't know if they have enough to get over the hump. They may just be one trade away. Maybe it is. Maybe for one of the right defensemen to settle in that Nurse pair, make it a shutdown pair, to make it so then it's like you're overpaying for Nurse, but if you get him playing effectively and you make that a good shutdown pair, that could work.
Oh yeah, no, they it's not like they're not that far away. Yeah, and hell, they went to the Cup Finals with damn Cody Ceci on there. Like, what the hell? But like, it's just, you look at it right now and you go, okay, come on, really?
Yeah.
So
that was an absolute rant and a half. I like it. Like, that was some of those. We got super way off there, but we're gonna bring it back.
No,
we're gonna bring it back.
It's more so just timing.
That's
like
fair.
We're trying to like be efficient.
Yeah.
We were excited to.
Yeah.
You guys were just ready. I liked it. I really did. I liked it, but I'm gonna like this more. My team that it just didn't do anything, got worse. Their best signing of the offseason was Anthony Mantha. Wow, Josh. There's a score on here, a D. The D was the offseason moves by the Calgary Flames.
Before
they lost their starting goaltender. Mangiapane's going to be better wherever he went.
I got to tell you right now, are you sure you want to go down this route? Because
yeah, I do, Josh. Aaron.
The team is going down.
Correct.
But that's where they want to be.
Yes.
No? This team is
that's what you guys are missing. Like, I had to bring it back in with Chicago, right?
Okay.
I'm talking about a team that was worse from their offseason, and that is the Calgary Flames.
He's not wrong.
Like, I will completely. I listened to you guys go off about Edmonton there for about 18 minutes. The Edmonton Oilers got better. The only problem is Jeff Skinner. I mean, not Jeff Skinner, is Skinner, their goaltender. They got Jeff Skinner, though, by the way, and he's a good player.
Great player.
But their goaltender, that was like my whole takeaway is, Skinner pooped the bed in his 2 starts so far, right?
Just one.
Just the one. He got terrible, right? He was terrible. But anyways, my point is the Calgary Flames got worse in the offseason. I actually do think Edmonton got better, though. But I don't want to get back on I don't want to try to relive that past 7 minutes. But Calgary is the worst. Yeah, the past 20 minutes you guys are going on there. But I will say Calgary, Josh, tell me why Calgary didn't tell me how they got better, you think. Because I think they're going to be really, really bad.
That's agreed.
They're going to be really, really bad for a long time. And they might be in the basement, and they might get one of these like crazy American or Canadian kids that are coming up the line.
That's absolutely.
Like we're watching Celebrini right now, in on the first 2 points of the game. But yeah, Calgary Flames, their grade, not as a team, but their off season was like a D.
See, I'll tell you why why I don't think they actually are as bad as you're. I mean, no, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna be bad, and I don't think it's gonna be for a super long time. I think they're gonna be bad this year. They're probably gonna be bad next year. I think that their new rink is supposed to be finished in 2027. I think their goal, and in my opinion, their trajectory with especially with how their draft went, they had a fantastic draft. They hopefully should be starting to get back towards playoff contention the same time that new rink open up in a few years. So
I want to have a quick turn.
Yeah, and
hold your hat until then.
They're definitely poised to do so. Like the difference is from this season compared to last season. Like, yes, there are the roster for sure is less talented. Your goaltending is question marks. You don't have Hanifin anymore. Tanev's gone. Bunch of your forwards are gone. 100%. It's now a roster full of players that want to be there and are not questioning, where am I going to go? Do I want to trade? Do I want to just wait and sign in the offseason?
Kadri wants to be traded. Kadri will be traded, and they are going to. No, he does.
I don't think. I don't think he's going to Connor and being like, I want out.
Bet you guys that Kadri will get traded 2 weeks before the deadline. He's not going to be like a deadline battle guy. He's going to go.
I wouldn't be shocked by that, but I also just don't.
I don't think Nazem Kadri wants to be. I think he's tasted. He's tasted success.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably. Let me guess. No, hold on. Let me guess. I bet you Kadri is probably between 33 and 34 years old. Exactly. So the time is ticking on him. But what I'm getting at, though, is he's going to want to play really, really good. Is he going to be their top centerman, Josh?
Probably, yeah.
So he's going to want to play really, really good, and he's going to want to get traded to a team that is really, really good. And we've seen the effect he had on Colorado.
Happy birthday to Kadri.
It's his birthday today?
4 days ago.
No. Oh, wow. That was so bad. You're such a nerd. 4 days ago? He's 34 in 4 days.
Yeah,
that's such a. That was so nerdy. That was so nerdy. That's the inside joke to tell people exactly how old they are and how many days and apparently how many hours.
Yeah,
but no, Kadri's gonna go, and yes, Josh, Kadri leaving will make the team better. So we'll be able to maybe look and be like, hey. Next year, when we're having this conversation, Calgary got better because of their draft pick that they got from Kadri. Or maybe they got like a young defenseman that's going to be better, right? But in this offseason, we can't because we shouldn't, because we didn't do it with any other team. We didn't go over their draft class. You happy with their draft class?
Very. Oh, extremely.
Very. That's all I need to hear.
Fantastic draft.
But Calgary Flames got substantially worse or didn't do anything. Less talented. Well, they gave up. I believe Markstrom's still a top 7 goalie in the league, and he's gone. So right away, that takes away like a 20% chunk of your team. 25%. I know, you sold me on him. We're going to go watch him play this year for sure. I got to keep that tradition going, and I'm going to wear my Flames
We'll have to see a
jersey. Yeah, we're going to go. But let's get out of there. Flames, I'm sorry, Josh, but I had to do it. I don't necessarily agree with your Edmonton, but you know what? It's getting late, and I don't feel like being that mean and that gritty. But, Aaron, what do you got? Team that you thought that didn't get better, or you didn't like their off-season accusations.
So I'm going to say that...
Say that right?
Yeah.
So,
No,
Accusation.
accusation.
you know, the ads. Go.
Sometimes I think the worst thing that you can do is not enough or nothing at all.
Oh, I know where he's going with this.
So honorable mention to Winnipeg,
Ooh, okay.
who did not do a whole lot outside of, in respect, they had already, the extensions kicked in for Hellebuck and Scheifele. They signed them at the start of last season. That's fine. And they kind of have to stay competitive because, you know, Winnipeg, again, with that market, they're trying to keep interest. But that's also why I felt they should have done more. I'm going to say the Islanders.
Hey, was that a shot at the Winnipeg fans?
No, that wasn't a shot.
You said they got to keep them interested in that market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
As long as you didn't mean that.
more so because of the, again, like it's expensive. It's like, you know, oh yeah, you know, Canucks game. It's like, oh yeah, that's fine. We'll pay for the Canucks because and Winnipeg's a good team, right? But they've had the same core for so long,
I know.
and they've had the same results for so long.
I halted you on the Islanders, though. I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I really like the Islanders. I like some of their top players, but they're not doing enough. Lou is not doing enough. Their best acquisition this offseason was NHL journeyman Anthony Duclair. That's just not enough. It's not. Anders Lee is barely not, he's not a top six forward anymore. Brock Nelson in a year or two may not be a great top six forward anymore. He's like 34.
You should email Lou Lamoriello.
That you gotta fax him. You gotta
fax him. Yeah, well done. That was good.
This isn't like a thing for, like, I'm not a guy that dislikes Lou Lamoriello. I actually do like him, but I just don't think that he's made enough moves for this team. They have Dobson on defense. They got a center core of Barzal. Well, actually, they moved Barzal to the wing and put Horvat at center, which I don't mind. But I like Horvat. I think he's, you know, he shouldn't be their second best forward.
Yeah.
And they got Barzal and they got Sorokin, who with Waugh, they've been going with Varley. And my guess is more so because, again, of the back surgery that Sorokin had in the offseason. But, I mean, you know, he was even losing the starting job. The point is, I believe in those guys,
yeah,
and it just doesn't feel like the GM does, where it's like his moves don't tell me that, you know, he didn't go out to sign Jake Gensel, Stamkos, Marchizzo, a team that needs scoring forever. It's like they're not willing to pull the trigger on a scorer, unless his name's Anthony Duclair, which Duclair did not strike me as a guy who, you know, was willing to shave his beard to go and be with Lou's boys. But, like, I don't know. I'm actually like low-key Islanders fan, like top 10, some years top 5 for me. But ever since they lost Trotz as their coach, they got away from that really defensive identity. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Get some scores. They haven't done it. And that's a team that can be better, but they won't be because they're not making.
I agree with you, and I'm gonna pour a little gas on that fire. And this player was already on the team, but this was like could go down as Lou's like worst signing, and that was Pierre Engvall for $3 million. He's in year 2 of his 7-year deal, and he already got sent down.
7 years.
7 years, $3 million, 7 years. Lou Lamoriello, Pierre Engvall.
If you fit in with Lou's guys, you get a 7-year deal. Varlamov got 6 years. He signed that like a year or two ago. He's 35.
That's terrible. That's
like
terrible.
That's the problem. And I love Varley. And
Sorokin's in year 1 of year 8.
Who is?
And Sorokin.
Yeah.
And I think that's like 8.25. I think he's that level good.
Yeah.
But they also got to give him some support.
Yeah.
Like it's just not good enough. So
$7 million, year 6 of 7 for Anders Lee. I agree that's a good one. It really is a good one. Yeah, Lou he didn't do anything really that exciting over there at all. How short is the leash though for Skinner? I'm going back to Edmonton. Like, who could they get? Can there be a goalie swap there with Skinner and? Yeah,
no, not Soroka.
no, but yeah, exactly.
So.
Are you sure?
I don't. First of all, I don't think that's the case because I think McDavid is some like when it comes to goalies, like top players have a decent amount of say. Like if they don't like a goalie, they'll say if they don't like him, and if they say they like him or they're happy with him, they're happy with him. I think McDavid at this point, I think he thinks that Skinner has shown enough at points that he can be effective, and he's young, he's got size, he's had a fine cap hit, but once again, the problem is they don't play well enough defensively in front of him, and they just don't get a save from him.
Yeah.
So either you're getting an elite goalie, which you could, but it does cost. It costs money, it costs assets in a trade, and I think that Edmonton's just not going that route. And I would, if I were them, I probably would.
Josh, would you do that deal? Would you do that? Why can't I say that?
If I'm the Islanders, I would. Because
Varlamov for Skinner?
if I'm the Islanders, I would.
I actually don't think it makes sense.
I'm saying that because they're both making almost equal money. They both have 2 years left, and it's just like,
for Hurley.
let's get new. It says here 2 of 4.
Yeah.
So yeah. So but Skinner, I mean,
did 2 of 3.
yeah, he's got 2 of 3. But that's like a flip flop for money. That would be an interesting one. That's kind of, I mean, I thought we did a good job here tonight. We stayed on task for the most part. We're buzzing though. I'm sure we're over an hour. So that's got to be it. That was a good first episode. I like that. I appreciate that. There was some good back and forth. And in the next episode, we're gonna feature some fantasy players and their value. Look at last year's standings opposed to where we think the teams are going to land this year in standings. Essentially, we're going to predict who we think is going to make the playoffs. So stay with us. Stay tuned. This is season 2 of Nerds with Grit podcast. This will be, yeah. You know what? It was it's late. It was a good one, and we will be back soon enough. You got some outro, man? Come on. You're doing Enter Sandman? He's doing Enter Sandman at the end of our podcast. No. Now we're jumping into copyrights.
I'm not going to lie. I wanted to make sure I knew which episode.
That was
because I did not know, so I just accidentally misclicked that. Good thing my mic was muted.
That was a very, very, very nerdy thing. He's just pumping Enter Sandman. Let's get out of here. Season 2. Nerds with Grit, Big T, Josh, and Aaron. We'll do it again very soon. See you next time.
Where it is.
No, what is it? I just said season 2.
9 or 10.
This is number 11.
Damn, I wasn't even.
Wow, number 11. Who's the best player in the history of NHL to wear number 11?
There's a name.
Don't say Saku Koivu. Don't. Who?
I don't even know.
Did you say Smita?
Yeah.
I heard me saying what Smita was Stan Smil. That was so dumb.
As a Canuck fan, this might be bad.
That was
might be
so
number 12.
dumb.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, next episode we'll let you talk about your Canucks as well too. Episode 11, Nerds with Grit. Until next time.